And Seda, I'd like to kick off with a question. Looking 3 to 5 years ahead, where do you expect the biggest disruption? Models, infra, networking, or security, and why? So where do you see the biggest disruption that AI will bring in the coming few years? As far as your glass orb can predict.
It's a hard question because 3-5 years we'll know what's going to happen. But what I can say is, I think it's happening right now. It will disrupt everything that we know today. So network will change, our business process will change, our way of thinking will change. So not sure if what will be the status in 3 years, but I think almost in next 1 year, everything will be different. And we are already part of this change. Yeah? It's happening right now.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Impact of AI podcast, where we look at AI and what it does to us in our daily lives. Today, we have a very special guest, Seda. And Seda, I'd like to kick off with a question. Looking 3 to 5 years ahead, where do you expect the biggest disruption? Models, infra, networking, or security, and why? So where do you see the biggest disruption that AI will bring in the coming few years? As far as your glass orb can predict.
It's a hard question because 3-5 years we'll know what's going to happen. But what I can say is, I think it's happening right now. It will disrupt everything that we know today. So network will change, our business process will change, our way of thinking will change. So not sure if what will be the status in 3 years, but I think almost in next 1 year, everything will be different. And we are already part of this change. Yeah? It's happening right now.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. We say that a lot on the podcast.
Yes.
It's your catchphrase.
yeah, exactly. So, Seda, thanks for being on the podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm living in Amsterdam, Netherlands. I moved Netherlands 6 years ago. I'm a data scientist in my roots. Long time ago, I had a degree in computer science and machine learning. For more than 15 years right now, I'm working with enterprises to accelerate their AI and data initiatives and make them real value for their own organizations. I am part of Cisco EMEA AI team right now. I am an AI strategist, AI advisor for large enterprises, and I'm working together with different countries, different verticals in EMEA North region.
Nice. So, and we know each other from Microsoft, and
Exactly.
we worked together there for a few years. Then you took the move to Cisco. What did you find different there? And how do they look at AI? I mean, Microsoft is an AI first company, and James and I know Cisco from the networking stack and the UCS. I'm that old, but the UCS stack when that first started. But Cisco is doing much more at the moment. So what did you see in the transition, and how are they approaching this whole AI phenomenon?
Yeah. So, we met at my Microsoft time. So I worked at Microsoft 13 years, again, and data and AI related. And for sure, Microsoft is one of the key companies when you think about AI comes to your minds. But why I did the change? Yeah, because what I'm seeing right now is AI becoming more than just application, or it's just more than a model that we are talking about. It's becoming a strategic asset for organizations. And from Cisco perspective, what I'm seeing is, the real story is how we can make these long-term AI requirements for enterprise AI strategy in a more like platform and a strategic approach than just one or two AI use cases. So what Cisco proposed from that perspective is really compelling for me, because the story on Cisco side, how we can make one stack, one platform, end-to-end environment operating model that we can make this AI real and become a strategic asset for the organization. So I think the perspective is wider, and it touches several key points, key challenges that we are seeing as of today, and we will continue more and more in the upcoming days regarding to AI story.
Ah, nice, nice. So, you often talk about moving beyond AI as a feature into the AI secure AI factory. So, in layman terms, for us as simple podcast hosts, what does an AI factor, a secure AI factory mean, and why do enterprises need it now?
Yeah.
It's
Uh, so I find the story very similar where like 15 years ago, yeah, we were talking about cloud transformation at that times. But only after we start to talk about digital transformation and how we really implement it as a part of our business process, then we start to see the real value from the business perspective. And it took, I think, 5, 6 years to complete this transformation in our mindset. Right now, I think with AI, we are at the same turning point. So we started the conversation as an add-on feature, as an AI assistant, as a chatbot, a little bit more skilled when we are talking about AI. But now, especially when the maturity increase, we are starting to see it is becoming a part how decisions are made and how operations run and how the value is created. I think as soon as AI becomes big part of core business process, this is the time secure AI factory is a necessity. But it is the necessity because it becomes the core of the business, and you need to create an industrial grade level foundation. So it should be, you need to repeat, safe, and you need to do it at scale with a full control governance on top of it. So I think this is the AI, secure AI factory that we are talking about. So not just a feature.
no, so being a secure fundament in your whole organization. And Cisco is, of course, investing heavy in the AI-ready data centers and getting that run at the customers on
Yes.
site. I'm getting a call. 1 second. Then people are calling me. That's not that's gonna help.
Okay.
No, no, no. Your Cisco is investing heavily in AI data centers and AI pods with partners like Nvidia,
Mhm.
OpenShift, Red Hat. What are the problems you see? What are what do these pods solve for customers? Is that
Okay.
having everything as a pod in their data center with one management platform, or and how do they connect everything to it? Because
Yeah,
it's
this is a very important question, yeah, because when you talk about AI, when we are talking about the greenfield environment, so not related anything that we have in the enterprise environment, it's easy. But the complexity starts when we start to think about, okay, every layer of the stack and the existing challenge in enterprise environment. So it is it is very complex. It is very heterogeneous environment solutions with existing investments. So then from that perspective, yeah, maybe we are talking about model and GPUs right now, but we also need to ensure that it is a very aligned stack where you can have a full integration at compute, network, storage, orchestration level. So it is much more wider than just GPU and model. Yeah. And this is why I think it's the Cisco approach is differentiates compared to other vendors in the market. So what Cisco tries to do, it tries to propose a stack of solution, an AI secure AI factory to customer, which is both flexible but also tightly very integrated. By saying that, I mean, so every customer will have choices across different layers of the architecture. They can use their own storage, their own compute level that they want. Of course, for security, for visualization, they can bring their own solutions, their own preference. But on the other hand, from the simplicity and the best integration between these layers, especially network and also the virtualization layer, they can they can see Cisco as the trusted partner who validates this stack. So this is why we are saying that it is not a black box environment Cisco proposed, but we are proposing a flexible platform which is verified, which we collaborated together with different partners like Nvidia, like Red Hat, OpenShift. So the idea is making a flexible making allow customer to build their own AI-ready data center instead of forcing a one-size-fits-all model. So this is the strategy. And what I see till now at the customer's conversation, it really resonates because it really reflects the need of the existing data center setup today.
Yeah, and that's regarding because you also say mostly you warn strongly against generic AI strategies.
Exactly.
And this is exactly the point. So there's no one size fits all. If you want to do AI in your own environment or cloud-based or whatever, there is no default playbook.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
There are some guardrails, but you need to do it on your own, with your own data set, with your own mindset, with your own security, with your own specialized strategy to make it work for you.
Totally. And just to add on this part, so even it is the same story from the use cases perspective. Yeah, what we are seeing right now, we are taking out of the shelf use cases from the same vertical, same company sizes, and we expect that it will create the same value at the organizations. But the data is different, process is different, operating model even different completely. So this is why I think it's really important to remember. So yes, everybody is talking about AI, everybody is talking about AI journey, but the journey is different for everyone. So we need to think it in that way. And I think this is also a value that we try to propose it from Cisco perspective, not just the technology piece, but also from the use case perspective. We try to identify which use case to start with by maximizing the return on investment based on organization maturity. I think these are the two key points that we need to balance very well to make it a perfect fit for every organization. Otherwise, it will be just a generic AI strategy that won't fit for the organization.
Yeah, and touching a bit on the ROI, that's a lot of discussions we have with customers. They say, okay, but and that's one of the tough parts for me, getting this ROI discussion as clear, because especially if you do a little bit of AI agent work and the process is a little bit more a little bit more agile and it works a little better for the users. Uh, the profit of that is not always directly converted into money. If you save 10 minutes a day on a process,
Mhm.
how to quantify those 10 minutes per user and what they're going to do at that time? How do you see that in your discussions with customers on this ROI discussion?
Yeah, but this is, I think, exactly the point. Yeah, the starting point is mainly productivity increase. And the biggest question that we are receiving in that kind of value proposition is okay, the time is that we create additional time, but what we are going to do with this time? So what is the benefit for us? And I think when we start to focus on the productivity piece, it is also creating an adoption challenge at the customers because then it's becoming an automation story, which ends up with replacement of human resources, which is an angle that we don't really want to move on, especially when we are talking about AI. So this is why by ROI part, what we try to do, okay, but what will be the value for business? Gaining additional hours in a day is not a value that creates huge difference in the competition in the market and also for generating new revenue. So what we try to do is, okay, what AI capabilities that we can use to augment people. Oh, sorry. It's another goal. So to augment people with this AI capability so they can make better decisions and they can execute in a better way so they can generate more value for the business. This is why I find it a little bit, so it is I think it's when we are talking about ROI, return on investment, it should be a financial number. It cannot be just hours, or it can be if it's a public sector customer or a public service customer, then it should be a value to citizens. So at the end, it needs to propose value to customers of the organization that we are in. Otherwise, yeah, it's employee productivity. It's good, but it's not a real return on investment, I think.
And I think that's one of the reasons we see a lot of AI projects fail is because of the whole concept around ROI. As you said, time savings are great, but companies are looking at the financial side or the value provided, not the employee has an hour back. What value is that to the business? So I think it's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes the that is what I find in discussion with customers a little bit more complex, especially when you talk to the finance guys. The user experience, the user employee happiness, the customer happiness grades should go up, but those are not always very easy to count because they don't always measure them. But I agree totally with you. Getting an hour back in your day is awesome, but getting a more happy and a customer that comes back,
Yes.
that's where the
And
profit is.
this is the part when it becomes the part of the business process. Yeah. If we are just changing the way that we do things in a day-to-day basis, I think it's just an automation perspective. The difference will start if we really implement it in the business process. So, yeah, I think, yeah, by the way, it's every time for every tech innovation, it starts from the tech side. So, and it's right now when you connect the story with the business teams, business units as customers, and this is what we are trying to do, then you can start to see that they evaluate all the AI story in a completely different way. This is what I'm trying to do by day job, yeah, at Cisco. So I am trying to connect business units with technical people to make this AI innovation something reasonable from financial reports perspective. So this is what we are trying to do, and only after that we can have a clear success criteria that make this POC scaled in at the organization level. Otherwise, it's just try, learn. And I think everybody is a little bit bored not seeing any return on investment from the AI projects.
Yeah, this is what we see a lot in projects, and James and I talk about this in the podcast a lot. It seems to be this is the year of the agent, so this is the year AI needs to start delivering value. The playtime is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at the bigger investments that big investments companies have already done, and the lack of value they have received up until now. So that this is the year AI has to do its thing. So it's an interesting year to see. One of the other things is you work a lot with customers. Where do you see some early red flags when you talk to them about how they envision AI to be used in their company? You talk to them and say, "Well, we want to do this, and this." You say, "Well, great idea, but let's not do that."
So I think what we just touched, the business alignment. It is must there. If we are only talking with IT people, tech people, so I think it is also make it so hard for us, for the advisors, to articulate what will the solution look like. Yeah, because when we talk about with the technology people, it is becoming more innovation play than real value creation journey. So there is no clarity on the value it's supposed to create, or no real acceptance criteria. And I think there is also no honesty in the complexity that the solution will look like from operational and cost perspective. So for me, it's a great red flag. Yeah. So if there is no business stakeholder in the room around the table, it's for sure a huge risk. The other one is, I think, culture part, especially if the motivation behind this AI is just creating an automation, it's just replacing human, then I think it's also not serve the purpose. So it is a clear point where we will hit the ball. What we need in this conversation, we need to find a way how we can even more empower these people with our existing resource, human, by the power of AI, and how we can bring some more accountability, some more governance and standardization around it, so we can make a value for all of our employees, not just a few smarter ones who are leading the AI game. So I think these are the two most important things that I'm paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and getting everybody on board, not just the AI innovators, but
Yeah,
the rest of
exactly.
the company. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and you also talk a lot about AI observability. How do you see that also in comparison to the classic security or zero trust? We need to observe what AI is doing. We need to check whether the output is correct. How do you see that happening? And is that part of the at what part in the decision making process does that become a factor?
Uh, so observability is something, I think it's not a necessity to have as core part of the solution where you are just experimenting it. Yeah. So for sure it is not looks like a need in the early stage of an AI solution. But as soon as we start to think AI as part of the business process, not as a feature, but as a foundation, then the story becomes, okay, how I can be on top of this solution at every layer. Yeah. And observability, by saying observability, I never just focusing on what is happening in the model itself or what about the performance, but I am thinking about, okay, are we secure? Are we on top of the policies, control at network layer? Are we really monitoring the cost of this AI service by focusing on the tokenomics and the reasoning behind it? Are we leveraging every GPU every moment so we can we maximize our investment? So from my perspective, observability means looking inside of application, looking inside of your containers, microservices, your network,
So
your
it's a com-
firewall, everything. Yeah. So
so it's a
this is
complete holistic view of what's going on.
exactly,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and think that if you are not being on top of this whole end-to-end stack, yeah, you don't have visibility in details in each layer, which is, by the way, it's a hard equation to address. But then how you can ensure that your zero trust is in place? If you cannot observe, monitor, how you can be on top of your economics for with your prompts, with your AI solutions? So observability is something that needs to be built in an AI secure data center factory proposition instead of being an afterthought. This is the most important thing. And security and observability should go hand in hand in an enterprise environment.
So to summarize that, when you're playing, it's okay, but once it's going to be a fundament of your environment and you're going to trust the decision it makes, you better be on top of what it does and know
Yes.
where it gets the data from, where the octopus is touching everything.
Exactly, exactly. And just think like that, yeah. If you, yeah, we are all technical people here, so if we ask us to build an agent, I'm quite sure we can build it in 3 hours. Next 3 hours, it will be a perfect agent that we can use. But can we deploy it to an enterprise organization? Never. It is.
No.
It will be just a suicide. Yeah, suicide mission.
Yeah.
It will be career suicide. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So this is all about, and sometimes I'm thinking we are talking about models, we are talking about GPUs. It is the first thing comes into our mind, but the real elephant in the room is just the whole stack conversation, how it's integrated, how it's working together.
And how, when you're talking about the stack and security, obviously CISOs at most organizations are very risk averse. How do you kind of allay any of their kind of concerns when it comes to security?
Oh yeah, but what I want to do, so if they are hesitant on the security, they see the risk, it's perfect. I think it's a good place to start, because we need to afraid of it. So this is the risk. Yeah, if we are not seeing it, that means we are just ignoring them. It is a bigger risk, I think. What we are trying to see is, okay, it is not a decision to take action or not taking it. It's not that we are not at that point, right? The world is changing. The the zero trust concept is also evolving. So if we can just sit where we are today and then close all the walls, all the doors, then that means we won't exist in the next 3 years. So we need to move together with this in this AI driven world, but also we need to be crystal clear about how we will protect what we have today. And I think this is also where we see the trust challenge with AI. Yeah? AI is so new, and right now most of the organization in trust building space with this new technology. It is trust building takes time, even in our personal connections. Yeah? So we are human beings. It takes time to build trust to a technology, to a new person, or a new solution. But I think, when I try to focus on this trust perspective, I'm saying that the gap is not technology, but the trust that we need to build in with this new way of working. And I see three main pillars. Yeah. One, it should protect what we have today. It can be our reputation, it can be our IP, it can be our data. It should protect it. It should, while we are developing new, we need to focus everything that we knew is also reflects this responsibility of using AI. So it should be everything new should be considered in the application, in the development, should reflect the security basics. But also we need to trust that every decision that we make today can be defendable in 2 years time frame. Nobody wants to defend a huge investment, a new application which fails in 6 months timeline. So I think this is also the trust, yeah, how we can make it feature proof in a world that everything is changing in just weeks. So I think this is the place where we need to focus on the foundation, the governance, the end-to-end stack view, instead of just bits and pieces components like which GPU, which model. So it is a little bit more tactical compared to, according to me, than being a strategic one.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Just on the whole security angle there, obviously you've talked about how essential it is, and as we move from, just getting a chat response to AI actually taking action. So what kind of measures do you look at in terms of, if you're like, we talked about you don't deploy an agent without straight into an enterprise, but what is the approach when it comes to kind of the agentic side of things, where the AI is actually taking action? What kind of rails and measures are required?
Oh, yeah. So I was just listening another podcast in this morning about this topic. So having agents as the policy controls, I was just thinking about, even we are building a new estate of our organization to control how these agents work in the foundational level. But for me, of course, the metrics that we are taking into consideration is, okay, first of all, end-to-end visibility. The observability piece is key because, of course, the verification, the granular access, segmentation, we are forcing some policies, but to check if they are really happening, and if it's really what is happening on the solution itself is something very important. So it also connects us to the observability piece. But for me, the biggest challenge in front of us is giving identity to agents and how to control their authority while they are taking the actions. And the Cisco has a very nice initiative on that piece, and what I like the most lately regarding the agent identities is task-based authorization, which means you cannot give the authority for everything to an agent, but it should be based on a specific task. And human should be in the loop for sure to be on top of everything. But it's also important to remember that how we can ensure that human will stay in the loop if it just approves everything in the same way at the same time. So it is also a little bit gamification, the interaction game. So Cisco child organization, I think I can say that OutShift is doing nice work, nice R&D work regarding to that topic, agents, authorization of agents. And I strongly recommend for people who wants to check that one. They are really doing research work around that topic. I'm not sure if it's an answer because I touched several points at the same time. But
that is the whole thing with AI, though. It does touch several things. So it's very hard to be specific about these things because, as I actually really liked Gurjan's analogy about the octopus, because that's what AI is essentially. It gets into everything. So
yes.
So when you answer about something, it's completely normal that you would go off on tangents like that. You just to talk about a little bit about yourself as well. You've kind of been in engineering, sales, strategy. What do you kind of feel are kind of are critical skills in AI teams, and where should people be investing their time to stay relevant in an AI first kind of world?
It is something that, it's something that I'm thinking every day, because it's changing so rapidly. So how can we on top of everything, at least how we can be on top of our own topic. So I'm thinking that. So first, we need to drink our own champagne. This is the first advice that I'm saying. And I'm right now I'm asking myself every week, every month, how many agents working for me in a regular day? Yeah, how many agents is working in the background preparing stuff for me, and I am trying to just be at the orchestrator seats to review. It makes it more strategic than ad hoc questions. And I think this is what we are thinking while we are talking about, how we can make it business process. Yeah, on top of this is why I try to increase the number of agents working for me in a day-to-day, and this is my mindset. But I'm also thinking that we need to have an understanding of data, infrastructure, what an AI design means. So maybe because I'm on the strategy side mainly, but I don't want to just one narrow layer. I want to know the bigger picture. It is the place when we start to see how the story becomes together. And of course, security, governance, as I said, observability, these are the components, must-have components every time when we have a conversation with enterprise. And communication getting more and more important because right now business is getting more in the technology. So the translation in between these two entities is becoming a kind of a superpower, I think. And commercial awareness, something that we need to start to think about because everything right now, the biggest challenge is not, is it intelligent enough? No, it is intelligent. The question is, what is the amount of the cost of this intelligence to me, and at what level I want to keep it. So I want to have an intelligence that I can afford for my business value. So I think these are the things, generic things that every architect and every strategist advisor should think about.
Excellent. Yeah. No.
So
No.
yeah,
Yeah. I agree. I think you're right. In everything you're saying, there is there is a series of skills, and you have to think beyond just the technology and the impact that these things are having. And obviously, the business side of things is critical because, as we've said several times throughout this episode, we've moved away from AI, we're all playing around. Now it's like really time for AI to start delivering
Yeah.
value and return on investment and actually making an impact in businesses rather than just being a nice shiny toy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And let's be honest, techies love their toys. So this is it. We know we love our gadgets, so we love our toys, but we need also someone to use it for the business value. Yeah, this is
But we need someone to buy them for us most of the time as well.
exactly another story. Yeah, totally. But I think this is why everything should start with ROI. What to do? Yeah, yes, it can do several things, but what do you need first? Let's start by asking the bold question.
yeah, exactly. So it's almost time to round
Yeah.
up this episode. What's the one tip you want to give our listeners based on your experience and what you hear when you're talking to customers?
It it is not just about AI, I think, but I think the biggest advice is first listen. Listen, customer. Don't, when you start to tell your own story, you are losing the opportunity. Listen and understand them. And I think this is something that even I'm skipping the step because we are too enthusiastic to talk about our wonderful solution, how it creates the difference. But just listen, just do your homework, understand your customer, and then I'm every time amazed when you start to ask questions and just wait. The information that you can collect from customers is back to basics, I know, but AI is also pushing our buttons one more time. Okay, are we good in basics first? Because the complexity, the part that take time is already easy right now. Yeah, we need to back to the basics. So this is my advice. It's an advice for myself day to day too, because as you can see, I get even more enthusiastic sometimes. I would like to share. So just to take a breath, just wait.
Yeah,
Listen.
that's why we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Yeah,
Exactly.
listen more, talk less.
So Seda, I've got one more question. So obviously tech and AI are very male dominated. So how do you kind of how do you find that, and how do you kind of make yourself heard? What's your approach?
Yeah, it is a very male dominated work, and engineer also the same. Yeah, I at the beginning, the first decade of my career, I think what I try to blend into the male world. So even small things, yeah, how you talk, what you wear, what is your coffee break conversation. So it is like, okay, I can become part of that community. But then I realized that, okay, this is not the value that I bring. I'm pretty positive, full of energy people. I like my passion in the conversations. I I have a very focused let's do approach. So I think when I start to bring who I am in the conversation, it also creates a different momentum. And I also start to see the credibility is coming from consistency, how you follow through. So when I understand that one, now I'm just happily leveraging all the nice things that I bring as woman around the table, like the emotions, the feelings, the synergy, how to connect the people, collect, collaboratively work together. So I think, yeah, of course, it's a journey, so it is changing. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. So I think it's this male-dominated IT world needs a lot of woman energy. So this is why I think we need to even push it forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Agree 100
Absolutely.
agree 100%. Yeah, more women in tech, AI,
Yeah,
all for it. As a father who has a young daughter, I'm all for it. So yeah,
Yeah, then the future leaders should be more female
absolutely, yeah,
in
because
the
the males have
leadership
pretty
hopefully,
positions.
much
Well,
yes.
messed things up. So
yeah, yeah,
they've done, you only have to look at the news and what's going on in the world. Yeah, we over to you guys, because yeah,
yeah, yeah. Please try. Can you try for a bit?
yeah.
Uh, so, Seda, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thanks for your insights. Thanks for your time. We hope to speak to you again in the future to see how AI is progressing and how you see things happening and changing in your role. And yeah, for now, again, thanks. Thanks for this, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. And we'll see you all on the next episode.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, just to finish,
Yeah.
just in case, so if you're listening, we are on Spotify. I think it's hosted on Buzzsprout and it's on Apple Podcast. And if you want to look at the video version, we also have a YouTube channel. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you on the next episode. Seda, thank you so much for being on, and goodbye, everyone.